Hello and welcome to episode 43 of the Inferno. Tonight's episode is the dirty game of triangulation. We're going to talk about the tactics that a narcissist uses to plot people against each other. Meanwhile, in some twisted way, they get off on being that little middleman that's stirring the pot, causing chaos, causing drama, causing friction. It's pretty bogue, actually, and why any human being would actually thrive and get off in this type of chaos is beyond me. Not trying to psychologically understand a narcissist in every way, but to bring awareness, and that's the whole point of what this Inferno podcast is about, is to bring awareness to people. That way, if you're in this type of abuse, you can identify it and get the fuck out of it. Run, run, run. So this episode tonight is about that, the triangulation. This happens from the beginning. I speak mostly on my channel about, relations in unintimate partners, but this can go for mothers, this can go for siblings, this can go for coworkers. They all basically have the same playbook, and so how we interact in our relationships can just be a little bit different. You can insert, coworker, ex-spouse, whatever. So coming to you in the beginning, they're already triangulating you because there was somebody before you that got demonized. And then all of a sudden, you became idealized in the crazy brain of a narcissist. And I think back about this, it makes sense. I didn't know it at the time, because if I would have known that this person was involved with somebody else, I would have not been involved with him. However, hindsight 2020, looking back, there definitely was, because that person before me was slandered and made fun of. And I remember this person, just really nasty stuff, which didn't work well with me, slandering the girl before me and saying how hairy she was and whatever. And I'm like, okay, big deal. So we're all made differently. I'm a fuzzy woman as is. So just kind of knowing my own identity, I didn't play into it. And I look back at it, and he was trying to get me to slam her. And I didn't. It didn't work for me that way. First of all, I didn't know it was his girlfriend. I didn't know he monkey branched from this girl to me and then later married me and triangulated, they'll triangulate you with anybody, because a narcissist has to always have an ally and an enemy. Do not ask me what in their little crazy ass brains gets off on it, but they do. It makes them feel superior. It makes them feel like they know something that you don't know. They do it to invalidate you. So the person before you, and then, when I got thrown away or devalued, I then became that person that was slandered and talked shit about, and my deepest, vulnerabilities and, I don't know, flaws, I guess, because we're all human. Flaws was probably brought up to the new fuel source that, I was the toxic one and I was the cheater and da 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 da. That's just how they roll. It's a toxic unit that you do not want to be a part of. So when they start stirring the pot in that triangulation, do not get sucked into the vortex of the black hole that they are. I don't know. Kind of reminds me of the mean girls in school where, you could only have one fucking friend, and I never fit into that either. So, but there were a lot of people that way. It's that, that one person where they treated you differently if there was a third party, a third wheel. Three wasn't three's company, it was third wheel, and whoever's in front of them becomes their ally, and the person that's absent from the room becomes the enemy, right? It's very fucking immature, but narcissists are immature, so they'll triangulate past sources of supply with new sources of supply. They will triangulate you with your children. They will triangulate you with people on social media. This happened as well. You know, I shared it on other episodes back when I was on Facebook years ago. That person would share things, and if it had anything to do with me or my children, who at the time he was legally married to, his little sources of fuel sources wouldn't say a word. They'll do this with family members. They plot you against anybody and everybody. And I don't know for certain with 100% certainty why they do this, but they thrive in chaos, as we know. So they'll do it to exclude you. I know early on, I was left out of a family wedding and I wasn't allowed to go. And it's about exclusion. It's about creating jealousy. They will flirt right in front of you with somebody else and then tell you you're insecure and you're jealous. And like I said, they do it to make you feel secluded or excluded from others. They'll idealize one person and devalue another. I remember this as well, you know, coming home and what I thought was just unloading from a day's worth of work, but it was really about somebody must have rubbed that person wrong at work, and then they come home to their spouse or their fake partner and try to reel you into their chaos and their drama. You know, you become their big cheering fan and, you know, supporting them and trying to get them to feel that validation, because it's all about attention and validating them. They treat everybody as objects and you're just a pawn, and so are the other people. I was personally, for me and my experience, I was triangulated with his whole family dynamic. It didn't work in my family because I actually, although my family has flaws and things that are not perfect, my family's really pretty deep rooted in moral compass for the most part. So, but with his family, from the beginning, I was triangulated with his mother. I remember riding on the day that I went to get legally married to this thing, his mother calling him, and apparently she must not have known anything about it. I would have never done that personally for me intentionally, but what I had to hear on the other end was quite rude. So I was already being triangulated from the beginning, from the ex-girlfriend that he probably just monkey branched and cut her off, because that's how I was devalued. I was devalued and discarded according to their sick minds. You'll get thrown away and you may not even see it coming. You may have intuitively sensed there was issues and tried to communicate issues as an adult with this narcissist, and they'll just stone cold look at you and lie to your face and, you know, just tell you that they're stressed out or whatever, when in all actuality they've devalued you and they're already idealizing somebody else, because there's not enough supply for a narcissist. They don't go to God, creator, source for their, you know, for their source of energy and for their knowing of who they are. They go to exterior things, and those things are people that are considered objects. So you're being used and abused. It's the highest form of psychological abuse. They will plot siblings against siblings. Looking back, this male, I won't call him a man, gossiped about siblings, but then they became his biggest allies when it was time to remove his things from my home. This person would plot one mother his mother against his father. Just the endless triangulation is just such a coward's game. And they're so insecure that they try to create jealousy within you. And so if you're a partner of one of these things and you're feeling excluded and you're feeling like you're, not being validated by them, they're doing it on purpose. Make no mistake. In their sick, twisted mind, they're smearing you, but yet to you, they're gossiping and smearing the very person that's supposed to be their ally. And I can say this with a matter of fact. I know for a fact that it had nothing to do with me because I'm just an object. I was a toy to be used for a while. I was a fuel source for a while. And then once they get bored and once they're ready to, bounce out to the next thing, the next shiny new thing, that person becomes idealized. So it's a constant manipulation with these narcissists. It's very abusive, very immature. And the plotting and smearing and the gossiping and, family member against family member. That was another thing too. This particular one that I had this experience with, once that mother was in the presence, then you're just the next best thing. But once you're absent, it was the dad was the idealized person. It's just a sick, twisted, it's a mind fuck. And I'm going to just tell you, once you realize and identify this, because they will make you feel so insecure. And trust me, I have a very strong will and I've been through a lot of damn things in my life. I know a lot of people have. But the confusion and the chaos that a narcissist creates within you, you can start losing yourself within that black hole, that vortex that sucks you in. They're very parasitic. And from the beginning, make no mistake, even when you are idealized, they're triangulating you with somebody else. There's always a third wheel. Monogamy doesn't work for a narcissist because eventually, instead of like a true adult who wants to, say get into a marriage, because marriage doesn't mean jack shit to them. Just know that if you walk down the aisle, don't mean shit to them. It does not mean shit to them. Nothing. You're being used for whatever reason, whatever service you provide for them, they're using you like an object. I digress. It's sick how it works, but it's a conquer and divide type of mindset. And whatever it is in their little pea brain that they get off on that is beyond me. I don't think that way. I'm kind of a more the merrier type of person. If you're good people, you know what I mean? Like if you're shit and you don't have any integrity, then no, I don't fucking want to be around you. Why would I want to be? But if it's going to be people getting together and, gathering and simple things in life, like having a bonfire and keeping it innocent, then I'm all for it. But when you're entangled with a narcissist, no shit, my life experience, 14 months after my son passed away at age 20, I found my son very unexpectedly, unexpected death. The first time I got out of the home and went to a family bonfire and there was a friend of a friend there, that ex-husband screwed her while I was in the house at the time I drank, passed out. That kind of shit, I mean, who wants to be around that? People who love chaos, other narcissists, other people that have no integrity. And my whole point of sharing that experience is that was triangulation. I was having a rough go of it. I was and still to this day grieve my child. Of course I do. And I was literally triangulated the entire fake marriage of 13 years and didn't even realize I was, but looking back, hindsight 2020, the fog lifting, I can see shit so clearly in the amount of repulsive, vile things that were done and that will be done to you as well if you're entangled with a narcissist is beyond comprehension low. So through awareness comes your healing, and through your awareness comes your ability to find strength if you're still in it, to get the fuck out of it, because they will suck you in to the point of you lose your clarity, you doubt your reality, because it is a mind thing. The psychological abuse from any narcissist, I don't care if it's malignant, covert, all these categories that we throw labels on, ultimately psychological abuse. And I'm pretty sure, you know, because I have been punched before, that those scars of psychological fuckery and abuse take much longer to heal than a bruised cheek. And I'm not saying it's okay to physically touch anybody, because it's not. But once you start to gain your clarity, and let me just tell you, if you're not out of it yet, secretly and quietly plan your escape. And when you do get your ducks in a row to get out of it, do not look back other than within yourself to do the healing and to unpack all of the mess. There were times when in the beginning that I was with my ex-husband in a vehicle, his mother would pass us head on, face to face, and she wouldn't even wave. And I couldn't make sense of it. And now I know is God only knows the shit that was being said, because it was a triangulation. At all times, the narcissist has to be that center of attention with 2/3 wheels, one being the enemy, one being the ally, and at any time, those two wheels on the bottom of that narcissist can flip-flop. It just depends on who's in the room. Prime example, back in the day, I drank, I went in the home, kind of went to sleep / passed out in front of the wood stove to go to bed, and at that time, I was the enemy as his fucking legal wife, who he was supposed to love, right? Have a reverence for, and he's out at the fire still drinking and fucking a girl that was there. Tell me the low of the low, because there is no low. That's so low that they will not go. And so that manipulation, that confusion, that chaos that they are constantly in, let them keep spinning in it. And as they're spinning in it and chasing their own tails, like the dog that returns to its vomit, exit stage left. And if they, by all means, disengaged from you and you've cut and severed all ties, although think they threw you away, give glory to God that you're out of it, because you can only go up from there. Clarity, health, physical health, emotional health. And I'm telling you, some people don't make it out of these kind of abusive relationships, whether it be a insignificant other, whether it be a mother, a father, a coworker. If you don't play the game, and if you don't stay in the vortex of the third wheel, the triangulation, and you just exit stage left, you no longer are in the equation of that. You just allow them to go off into the little fake sunset, or over to where they think that fucking turf grass is greener. Because ultimately, like I've said before, and I just love it, the grass is green where the fuck you nurture it. There is no adult relationship with a narcissist. There's no communication. There's no validation. It's all of the opposite of anything good. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it for now. Anything else? Oh, yeah. Don't allow them to make you feel insecure. If you had your moments like me, where I wanted to look through his phone because I knew something was off. I'm an intuitive woman who knows her value. And he threw a fit about me wanting to look in his phone and wanted to say I was insecure. Don't allow them to make you feel that way, because they are the ones that are insecure. They're the ones that don't know their identity. And when you're apologizing to the narcissist for some fucking chaos they drug up, there is something truthfully wrong with that. And one more thing. Episode 43 of the Inferno, where we're going to tell each other, like I started this out over on my Divine Destiny channel 13, which wolf are you going to feed? It's really super simple. Are you going to feed the good wolf or the bad wolf? Because that is what you're going to become. Narcissists choose the bad wolf. It's a choice. I don't give a shit. DNA, genetics, upbringing. I've went through a lot of shit myself, and it didn't make me be a fucking narcissist. So, true story. I'm going to come on and tell my whole story one of these days and get real vulnerable, because I have nothing to hide. I'm an open book, and I don't mind that at all. Bringing out the crone in me. Last year, I went through my Chiron return, turned 50 years old, went through a divorce, survived and thrived through 3 brain surgeries. There's a short snidbit. 2014, I woke to find my beautiful child. Warning here, hanging via suicide. That 14 months later, after I found my child, the first time, like I said earlier, that I got out of my home, and this dude I was married to legally, screwed the chick at the bonfire while I was in the house sleeping. He later blamed me because I was grieving my child, and that it was my fault that he fucked around on me. Again, like I said, the lowest of fucking lows. Do not allow them to make you lose yourself, because ultimately that's what they are. They're time wasters. They're abusers. Let's not sugarcoat it. Let's not put this, that, and the other label on it. It's fucking abuse. And it's quite evil. So take yourself out of that triangle, or that black hole that they are. Work on you. And as you come out of the fog, you're going to see it for what it is, and you're actually going to be repulsed by it. You don't get your time back. But what you can do is go forward and enjoy your life, because as I know, as a bereaved mother, and the shit that I've just been through with the surgeries and the brain aneurysm, life is so sweet, no matter how gnarly it may be in our society. I know it's hard to find good, authentic people, but they're out there. They might be less numbers than all of these selfish, fuckers that are 25 selfies and living that social media life. And I'm not bashing social media. I'm on YouTube. That's social media. But my whole point of that is saying, don't lose yourself. Be real, be authentic. Don't allow yourself to be knocked down by somebody outside of you. I hope this was helpful. And until the next time, shalom to you.